Okay, when you're doing a scene breakdown, breaking down a scene, what you're trying to do is determine what the director is doing, what the director is trying to achieve in the way they film the scene. Because it's not just about what's written. Now, this scene is the interrogation scene from the Batman The Dark Knight Returns by Christopher Nolan as the director. And there are a lot of interesting things happening. Now, I suggest that you might want to pause the video here, go over to YouTube, look up Batman Dark Knight interrogation scene, watch it first, then come back. And when you're watching it, think about what's happening, and then come back here. Assuming you've done this now. So let's begin. First off, I want to point out here that at the beginning of the scene, we're starting out with Detective Gordon on the right side of the screen and the Joker on the left. Already, from earlier discussions, we know by putting the Joker on screen left, that puts him in a stronger position. It means he's pushing forward. He has more energy pushing forward, while Commissioner Gordon is like he has his back to the wall. He literally, if you look over here on the side, he has his back to the wall over here. So I'm going to hit play as we're watching through here. You're not going to be able to hear what they're saying. Second of all, he is completely in shadow, and also we're looking at in terms of makeup. His eyes are all blacked out, and it's just about that face. But yet still, I mean, he's coming out of the shadows. He's part of the shadows. He just literally is just a face in a shadow here, and it gets across that dark nature of himself, and almost like the makeup looks like blood and guts on his face more than clown makeup. And if you look as well, Gordon's eyes on the screen. I'm going to leave my mouse here. I can't leave my mouse here, but his eyes are just. Well, I'll play back and forth here. See if you look where the cursor is. And right there, you can see going back. Camera's looking up at both of them, but the Joker is higher. His face is above Gordon's the entire time. His eyes are above Gordon's, which puts him in that state of power. So this definitely puts Gordon in a weaker position. Even here, again, pushing down, the angle is going downwards. Look at this. We got a downward angle going down here. So the Joker is definitely in power here. There's also light side of the room, and he is almost completely dark in there. So Gordon's leaving. The lights are about to go on. All right. Now, in this scene as well. Now, what's interesting going forwards here is that Batman is trying to be in control in this scene. He is trying to be the dominant. He's trying to scare the Joker. And what I'll be pointing to over and over and over again is that there are subtleties after subtlety after subtlety about the way that Christopher Nolan chose to shoot this that keeps the Joker in control. First off, looking at here, again, Batman's eye lines are almost always going to be lower than the Joker's. Even the camera may be looking up at Batman because Batman has a sense of power, so the camera is going to be looking up towards him. The Joker will always be a little bit above him. Just getting a reaction shot of the audience. Again, his eyes are high up on here. His eyes are here. Okay. They're on even levels here, But still, the fact that the Joker is so intense, his face is larger on the screen. And it started out with Batman over here, and now the camera has, through a series of cuts, has switched sides, going now he's being pushed up against a wall again. So even though the original shot here a second ago, yeah, Batman, when he first shows up, and he's never changed the side of the table. When it was first shot, Batman was on the left side, trying to take power. But as the Joker talks, we shift perspectives on the screen here in a minute, because here again, Batman's on the right or on the left side, pushing to the right, trying to corner, give a sense of dominance. But by moving the camera around, Christopher Nolan shifts their orientation to one another here, and now boom. Normally this would be called a jump cut because it shouldn't have worked. But in this situation, it does work. One, largely because we have a good sense of what the room's supposed to look like. But this was done because they wanted to have the Joker put on the left side, pushing against Batman. And his eyes are almost at the top of the screen at this point. And again, it's subtle because Batman's eyes are lower here, but the Joker's eyes are right around up here even. So it's a subtle perspective, but Batman is definitely put in a lower place, lower position. Also, we go back here. Joker taking up huge amount of space on the screen. In terms of screen size, go back here to Batman, where Batman's like, tell me what's going on. Tell me. He's just a tiny little head, just a tiny little thing over here. It's really taking away Batman's power. Batman's supposed to be this big, dominant, guy, but no. Every time you see the Joker, he's huge, and Batman almost never takes up a lot of screen space. Now they switch sides again, but in the context of what they're saying, the Joker's trying to sound like a friend to him now. So this makes sense, the reason why they flip sides again. We put the Joker on this side because it put him in not as a threatening position again now. Because the Joker now is telling him that, hey Batman, listen, they don't like you. They're going to throw you out. They're cast you to the wolves. And so that Nolan wants to show this greater sense of friend, that he's being a friend. He still, though, has much more screen space. The face is slightly smaller. So the Joker, they're filming this. So the Joker, as an audience, we have a subtle sense that maybe the Joker's telling the truth here, because the camera's looking down on him now, and he's on the right side of the screen. He's not as threatening. He's not as pushing to Batman. Also gives a sense of somebody who's been there now, because he's on the right side of the screen where things tend to want to move from right to left on screen. That's the way the energy wants to flow, is from, we just naturally, things want to go that direction. And so with that in mind, it's almost as if the Joker, having him on the right side of the screen looking to the left, is looking back like, hey, I've seen this. I've been there. I know what this is about. And he's trying to explain things to Batman, how things are going to be. Hey, you're not so bad. Now's where things get intense. Batman is trying to take power, and Batman is trying to threaten him. And this is where things get to be really interesting what Christopher Nolan's doing. Because the conventions of cinema is that if you put somebody on the left side of the screen, camera looking up on them, they're in a position of power, of dominance. And yet for the rest of this scene, the Joker is laughing. And so it's almost very, takes away Batman's energy, and us as an audience feel extremely frustrated that, wait a minute, the Batman should be winning. Everything psychologically from us, visually from us, is telling us Batman should be winning. He's Batman, but the Joker is laughing. We know there's nothing Batman can do in this room that the Joker has not planned for, that the Joker is not prepared for, and Batman cannot win against him in this room. And I want to talk about this room real quick as well, in that it is so blank and gray. And Batman is all black, the Joker is white, and there's a lot of subtle color is saying a lot as well. And the fact that this is sort of muted, almost limbo land of the world. It almost seems, look at this room as being like the world and being in limbo. But let's keep moving forward here. Now, just another cutaway to give perspective. Now, Joker has changed sides again, and in that he's now pushing back on the Dark Knight. Even the Dark Knight's the one holding him in the air. The Joker is in power here. He's pushing against Batman. Computer had a glitch. Yeah, so again, the Joker his eyes are above Batman's. He's looking down on, even though Batman thinks he's in control, the Joker is in complete control here. Again, he's laughing. Now the music, which I don't think you can hear, the music is it's just this one tone being dragged out at a very scratchy sound. So that's adding a sense of feeling to this. But again, the Joker is in about as weak a position as you can film somebody right now, and it's what's so frustrating to us as an audience, sympathizing for Batman, because we're looking down on him. He's crouched down on to the right side of the screen, up against a wall. Any other character in any other situation, we would be feeling pity for this character and know this character is, they're done. But the Joker is just laughing. And so one part, also brilliant performance going on by the actors here, but it's so frustrating to us as an audience, because we're going, what's happening, why is this not working? And so what Christopher Nolan is doing brilliantly here is is being a play on these conventions, that it feels so much more frustrating to us as an audience watching this scene, because it shouldn't be this way. Every other film we've ever watched in our entire life says, if I see somebody in this way, they should be losing, but the Joker's winning. And so Nolan has put him in one of the most subservient positions, but yet his face is huge again. His face is huge, and focus is really interesting as well here. You can pretty much only see his eyes. You really can't trust anything else but his eyes here. And that's about it.